Traveling is accelerated learning. It's a great, great personal development tool to learn about human behavior, to learn about yourself, to learn about the world. For example, one of the things that I learned that I talked about in a previous video is that industrialization and a disconnection from the natural world is one of the biggest problems on the planet. And I just, through traveling to so many different countries, I just picked up on that. You go to a city and every city is built the exact same way. You've got a 7-Eleven or a convenience store, and you've got cars all over and pollution. So it's one of those things you learn about the world, what it needs to be fixed. You can also learn about human behavior. And what I want to talk about here is specifically human behavior, because I can go on for 3 hours talking about all things that I've learned throughout my travels. I'm currently in Georgia, the country, not the state. And one thing that I am now totally convinced of is when you go to a country, learn about it, do your research, pick up on the stereotypes, because there's certain stereotypes and a lot of them are rooted in a certain level of truth. Like I could tell you a stereotype, for example, Arabic people are loud. This is good to know, because if you go to an Arab country and you see people talking to each other, you may think they're fighting, but they're just having a conversation. All right? It's just having a conversation. So it's useful to know all these things. But these are all like superficial things. It's good to know, so you could know how to behave yourself and sort of expect a certain, the software of, because the culture is a software. But underneath it all, ultimately, if you want to get to the bottom of it, when you go visit a country, you're going to have to throw most of what you learned and all the expectations you formed through your research and what you heard out of the window. Why? Because the truth is, people are different everywhere you go. Yes, you can come to a culture you heard. For example, you come here. I came to Georgia and I heard, oh, Georgian people are so hospitable, and they have a saying. And when you land in the airport, it says, a gift or a guest is a gift from God, right? Well, when it comes to the actual dealing with the Georgian people, I've seen just as much variability from one person to another than I've seen in Canada, which I lived in for 15 years. So all these things that I picked up on how Georgian people are in the culture out of the window, because every person that I come in contact with is so different in their demeanor, in their way of dealing with you, because it's just they're mirroring how they feel about themselves and their world. You see? Give me a second here. I got something cooking and I want to make sure it's all good. Holy shit, it's hot. Okay, oof, look at that. It's hot, man. All right, let's turn it down. I know all of you raw food people now are gonna kill me, right? Look, I got a bunch of oranges and lemons here, okay? Anyway, that's a different conversation, right? Raw and cooked and all that. So, maybe the next video, we'll see. What was I saying here? So, yes, when it came to dealing with the people here, each person is as different than the next one. Despite there's a certain culture, there's certain ways in which the people behave in each culture, but when it comes to it, the most important thing in dealing with other humans is the actual interaction, right? Kindness or lack thereof. So it's now like just been so clear to me that I now go to a country and I just throw everything that I learned, everything that I read about the people and all that out of the window. Because people are either happy, unhappy, or neutral, and you're gonna get exactly that when they deal with you, you're gonna get exactly how that person feels about themselves and their world. And all that culture and this and that, it really, at the end of it just kind of goes out of the window. Okay, I can't tell you that every single person that I met here in Georgia is kind or hospitable. No, I've had some people, especially in the early stages of this pandemic, make fun of me when they found out I was a foreigner, right? And on the other side of it, I've had really, really, really kind people, like super kind people. And every day I encounter different people, just like in Canada, man. Like it's the same. You go to Thailand, it's the land of smiles. You hear about that stereotype. But I'll tell you what, some Thai people were pissed the fuck off because they're just not happy with their lives. On the other end, you've got some very, very smiley and happy people. Now look, it's true. For example, Thai culture, the people there are non-confrontational. It's a non-confrontational culture. Very true. Very true. All right, so I'm not saying to ignore all of that. No, learn it. It's useful. You don't want to go to an Arab country and see people practically screaming at one another and feel intimidated because they're just having a conversation. So it's good to learn all these different things. But at the end of it, when it comes to dealing with people, look, deal with it case by case and throw your expectations of how people ought to be out of the window. That's very, very important. Actually, it's one of the most important lessons that I have learned now, is to learn about each culture before I go there so that I know what to expect, the mannerism of each culture, right? Learn about the mannerism. But when it comes to dealing with people, throw all that out the window. Deal with each soul individually. Straight up. Deal with each soul individually. Just throw all that out of the window. All right? Because it's like, again, look at your own country that you live in right now. Or can you say a certain thing that applies to all the people or even generally applies? No. I can't tell you something general about Canadian people. Because when you go to Canada, each person's going to be different. You may go to this cashier. If let's say you have 7 cashier counters, you may go to one cashier and just get somebody that's just pissed off like this, and can't even talk to them because they don't want to. They're just like, they hate their life, they hate their job. You go to the next counter, and this happy, jolly person, right? And the next counter, just a neutral person, not just neutral, just kind of mechanically, robotically doing their job, right? Same thing here, I mean, it's like I'm still in Canada. Same thing, I went yesterday to this cashier, and she was very, very nice, like so nice. Today it was just very, very, like, very neutral, like neither happy, neither sad, like just neutral, Same with the taxi drivers here, Like, they're still different. It's all different. So now I just learned to deal with each person case by case. You're a soul, I'm a soul, here we are. All right, I'm obviously always doing my best to just be as kind as I can. And that's really all I can do. How you treat me is just a reflection of how you treat yourself. It's very important to understand, is to not take anything personally here. Okay? It's the same now. Literally everywhere I went, this is the same pattern. It's the same pattern. It's just now, it's like becoming so redundant at this point that I just kind of go to a place and I just don't even really care all that much. I just learn a little bit about the mannerism of the culture, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. Like, for example, you don't go to Saudi Arabia and dress in skirts, for example, right? So you learn stuff like that so not get yourself in trouble. You learn these things. When it comes to dealing with people, just deal with them case by case, right? The case by case. Oh, but I read that you guys are supposed to be really hospitable. How come but that person was rude? Oh no. Oh, now, okay, boom, you put an X. Like, oh, don't like this country, I don't like any of these people. Oh, I read they're supposed to be really, like, generous and take care of their guests, blah blah blah. Like, no, just one rude person. Everywhere you go, you're gonna see the same thing, the same pattern. And it seems to me that wherever you go, a majority of humans tend to be kind, actually. Believe it or not, 70%, 80% tend to be kind. Right? Maybe 70% kind, 10% or 60% kind, 20% neutral, 20% rude, maybe. But it seems to me like it's the same everywhere. It doesn't seem to me that one culture is more hospitable than the other, or one culture is more rude than the other. It really seems to me that it's, yeah, some cultures and some peoples are like just more expressive of their emotions, whether it's positive emotions or negative emotions, right? And other people, like Canadians, you may say, well, they're just cold, they're people, right? Gotta be the weather. So for example, you go to a culture, like you go to Thailand, and somebody who's really kind is gonna show, it's gonna like like emanate a lot more than you go to Canada and see somebody kind. It's a different expression, but still both very kind. And in the same way, you may have somebody really rude in Thailand and somebody really rude in Canada, and even the rudeness is not as, so the Canadian person's rudeness will be more cold type rudeness, and that will be more like in your face. But it's the same at the end of the day. It's the same at the end of the day. Deal with each person just case by case. All right, and just do your best to be kind. And if somebody's not kind to you or rude to you or whatever, just understand that the way they treat others is a reflection of the way they treat themselves. Very, very important. Very important. Traveling is amazing. It teaches you so much. Anyway, that's about it. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video.